What's your best "I paid for this so I'm keeping it" moment? I was on a 7-hour flight to Vegas, finally settled into my window seat that I specifically paid extra for, when this family approaches me. Marcus leans over and says, "Hey, would you mind switching to my middle seat? We want to sit together as a family." I politely declined, explaining I paid for the window seat and had work to do during the flight. His wife Jennifer immediately jumps in. "Come on, we have kids. Families should sit together." I looked around. Their kids were literally teenagers, and they were scattered across 3 different rows. "Sorry, but no, you could have paid to select seats together when you booked." Marcus's face turned red. What kind of person refuses to help a family? Jennifer starts guilt-tripping me about how their poor children will be traumatized sitting alone. The teenage daughter Olivia rolls her eyes and says, "Dad, I literally don't care where I sit." This makes him even angrier. He starts saying that I'm being unreasonable and selfish. A businessman across the aisle suggests they ask someone else to switch instead. Marcus snaps back, "Why should we have to ask multiple people when this guy could just be decent?" Jennifer tries a different approach, offering me $20 to switch. I decline again, and she ups it to $30. Other passengers start getting annoyed with them for holding up boarding. Marcus then claims I'm discriminating against families and threatens to report me to the airline. Someone behind me mutters, "This is ridiculous." Jennifer starts fake crying about how this is ruining their family vacation. The teenage son Ethan puts in his headphones and pretends they don't exist. Now Marcus is demanding to speak to the pilot because this is unacceptable treatment. A passenger from first class walks by and asks what's going on. Marcus launches into his sob story about mean passengers who won't help families. The first class passenger looks at the teenagers and asks, "How old are your kids?" When Marcus says 16 and 17, the first class passenger just shakes his head and walks away. This embarrasses Marcus even more. He calls me selfish and says I probably don't have kids so I wouldn't understand. I tell him that's none of his business and ask him to please return to his seat. Jennifer jumps back in, now claiming they have a medical situation and need to sit together. When I ask what medical situation, she can't give a straight answer. Marcus starts raising his voice again, saying I'm questioning their family's medical needs. Other passengers are now openly telling them to sit down and stop making a scene. A flight attendant finally appears and asks what's happening. Before I can explain, Marcus tells her I'm refusing to accommodate a family with small children. The flight attendant looks at their small children, 2 teenagers with AirPods who clearly couldn't care less where they sit. She asks the family to show her their boarding passes. When she sees they're scattered across different rows, she asks why they didn't select seats together. Marcus admits they were trying to save money by booking the cheapest seats. The flight attendant explains that seat selection fees exist for a reason. Jennifer interrupts, claiming they weren't told about seat selection during booking. Another passenger nearby starts laughing and says, "Lady, it's 2023. Everyone knows about seat fees." Marcus gets defensive and accuses the other passenger of butting in. Now multiple people are telling the family to just sit down. The flight attendant tries to find alternative solutions, asking if anyone would voluntarily switch. Nobody volunteers because the family has been so rude. Marcus demands the flight attendant force me to move. She explains that's not how it works and that I paid for my specific seat. Jennifer starts crying again, louder this time. The teenage daughter Olivia finally speaks up. "Mom, you're embarrassing us. Can we please just sit down?" This sets Marcus off on his own daughter for not supporting the family. The flight attendant's patience runs out. She turns to the family and says, "Sir, if you wanted to sit together, you should have selected seats during booking or paid the fee." This passenger paid for their seat selection. Marcus started arguing with her about customer service and how the airline should accommodate families. She firmly tells him that continuing to argue will result in security being called. Jennifer gasps and asks if they'll be kicked off the plane. The flight attendant says that depends on whether they return to their assigned seats immediately. Marcus mutters something about terrible customer service but starts walking away. Jennifer follows, still sniffling dramatically. The teenagers trail behind, looking mortified. As they pass my row, Marcus shoots me one final dirty look.